There we are, and hi guys, and welcome to Drive to Survive. This is race number 8 of season 2 here in Drive to Survive, and we're hungry for today's Grand Prix. As we've got a full 16 here, for a full qualifying, should I say? Not a full 16, because that would be a full 20, but we've got a full qualifying here with 16 drivers on the grid here for today's Grand Prix, so hopefully it turns out to be a good one. And, well, of course, we're in that situation in qualifying, as I say. One driver will get knocked out, one driver only will get knocked out, so it's all down to the drivers on grid to not be that one and only driver, and when you are the one and only driver, it's kind of disappointing for yourself. So wait and see who that one driver turns out to be. The moment though, early on out of the pack is Daniel T. No, Nick even. Nick is the early one out of the pack here for Hungary. However, we have got people about to start. Like one of them is Mechanic here at the moment, as he makes his way around, preparing to go on to our first lap here of Hungary. Hungary, as well, was the first place we actually ever did a Grand Prix here at Drive to Survive, our opening Grand Prix of Season 1, won by Lurks, who was meant to be here. However, I think he's had a bit too many to drink or whatever. So, we'll wait and see if he joins us, but here comes Mechanic now to start his first lap of qualifying here around Hungary, around the Hungaroring, where can he put it? As he goes into turn 1, just lifting off before he gets to the corner, lets the car do the work for him as he goes on about 60% throttle all the way through to 100% as you come out of the corner with DRS open. Now you're downshifting into 3. Don't want to go all the way down to 2 or else you may lose a bit more time. However, now you can start to get the revs up here as you make your way around under the red and white stripe curb, and through the first sector it goes. It's going to be a 27.3 here for Mechanic. Now lets the car do the work for him just for a momentary second before he's back on the power, and now he's going to come up with a bit of traffic there of the Red Bull and Fry. However, they don't look to be causing too much of an issue. Now into the chicane he goes, lets the car slide through back on the power into this twisty around windy middle sector where you're never fully straight on the steering wheel here around Hungary. As now he is about to exit this part of the track and onto one of the mini straights he goes, where you can see some overtaking in the race. However, it's going to be difficult. 54.3 in that middle sector now, so he's not going too badly here on this lap. However, it's going to need to be faster if it's to take pole position, but he's got quite a while yet before he needs to be thinking about pole position, of course, as this is only Q1 here. It's just a lap where you want to get through. As he makes his way out the final corner, it's going to be DRS to the line with ERS open as well. Here he goes, and it's going to be a 1:16 to beat at the moment here, already here in qualifying, so not a bad lap time at all. Next up to cross the line is going to be Shifty Flight here as he crosses the line. Can he pick that lap time? No, he can't. It goes 8 tenths slower, then follows on the Ferrari, who's doing an outlap. Next up is going to be the Red Bull here of Needle. He's on an outlap as well. Well, now we turn the Ferrari of Wads. No, he's on a lap. It's going to be a Goggy. He goes into the 1:18s, 2 seconds off the pace already here in qualifying. Edwin, is he going to be similar margin? Looks to be just about pips him by only 300ths of a second here before the Mercedes can cross the line to go third fastest now. Still though, 1.2 down. Now Daniel T will come to cross the line. Where can he put his? Aston Martin goes P3 there behind his teammate. However, still a 10th off his teammate and 9 tenths off the top of the timesheets. Ollie goes P4 now, 1:17.2. And next up to cross the line is going to be the Mercedes of Ghost. Only 8th fastest there for Ghost, and he's stuck it down in the 1:18.5s at the moment. JMO goes P4 now. He's about in that middle part of the drivers at the moment, while Darfusha jumps up to P2, 6 tenths off the pace. Not a bad lap time there from the Alfa Romeo. However, still a massive margin of 6 tenths here in Hungary, which isn't being broken as it stands. However, Wads is flying. Has he got anything here in the Ferrari in this early part of qualifying to show potentially a sign of pole position here for the Ferrari driver? The man who's leading the World Championship comes out the final corner to cross the line and goes second fastest by barely anything. 400ths of a second there separate the two drivers before the McLaren crosses the line. Doesn't improve. Shifty Wizard, it won't be it. We need all to go 12 fastest and slowest of the current runners, but Wads P2 there, barely anything to separate the top two, and then it's quite a way down to the rest. Next up to cross the line on a lap, I believe, could be Ghost. He's improving through the middle sector, so he is going again here as Ghost, and this is going to have to be a big improvement. However, I'm sure it's an improvement which he can do. However, he does get a bit squiggly there on the rear end, but now he makes his way out the final corner, going wide onto the red and white stripe curve to cross the line. Is he getting to get in the 1:16s? He does get in the 1:16, goes 4th fastest now. 1:16.7 there for Ghost. For now, we're going to see Shifty Flight to do He just did another cool down lap. He's about to do another lap. Is Nick about to finish another lap? He's about to start another lap. So now we wait for the drivers to go out and do their second runs or third runs, for some of them already early on in this race, because some of them are doing quite a few laps here in qualifying at the moment. Tyres, some have been out there for 2 laps and they're carrying on as it stands, so we'll wait and see what happens. The likes of Shifty Flight going for a second run on these used tyres. Shifty Wizard on an outlap, he's got Spry in front of him, who has took multiple pole positions here and tried to survive Season 2, coming up from Division 2 after last season being the Div 2 champion. Now he's in front of the reigning world champion of Div 1, Shifty Wizard. However, Shifty's been struggling this season and ultimately still yet to take that first victory of Drive to Survive as a whole after being the winless champ in Season 1. But these two are about to start their lap times are going to be very close to starting when they do them. So into turn 1 we're going to go and we're going to follow on board with Shifty Wizards. We can see Spry out in front as they both go into turn 1 now. Spry, they're going a bit deeper, however he doesn't manage to lose too much time there, carries on pretty nicely coming out the corner, and now they carry on out the second DRS zone, breaking into 5th, I believe it's corner 5, coming out into 6, and then you want to go wide onto the track before you want to go up to the other side and then back to the right and over to the left again before you want to brake uphill here as you lower the revs just to go back up for a momentary second here as you're about to approach the chicane. As you brake at 50, you let the car swing from left to right, back to open to the outside of the track, and then you go into left again here in this middle sector now where you never strayed at all here. As back out to the outside he goes, and that could be invalidated. It is invalidated there for Spry and Apple. So Spry invalidated on his first run here, and that's going to ramp up the pressure on his second run already, because he knows he can't be affording to make any more mistakes like that, especially when it's another tyre set used here in the opening session of qualifying where he should be safe, really. Should be comfortably safe. However, you don't want to be wasting a set of tyres. Now Shifty Wizard, though, what can he do? He's on a pretty similar lap time. Can he do anything, though? Coming out the final set's challenge for the top positions. Hungary is a track which he likes. As he crosses the line, goes third fastest. Still, though, 5/10 off the pace of those out front at the moment. So those two out front, Wads and Mechanic, sitting pretty comfortably there in the top 2 spaces, while Shifty Wizard is followed by Darth Oosh and then Ghost and Shifty Flight as probably the next runners up in the spots of time at the moment. However, Spry will wait and see what he does when he does another lap time. However, he's into pits at the moment. Captain Blackburn, where is he going to put this lap time now? As he's starting his lap, he is P15 of course on the timesheet, however yet to set a lap time. Oscar also on an out lap, he'll be starting a lap any moment soon, and then it'll be just Spry to set his lap time here. But on representative pace it was Needle who's slowest at the moment and will be going out qualifying. As we follow on with Captain Blackburn, 27 through that first sector now as he lets the car swing to the outside of the track, taking a very wide line there. Coming out the corner as now you drop into the chicane where you just let the car do the work for you, but he goes full throttle coming out of it now, braking at 50 before you want to let the car do the work through most of these corners, while you want to put a bit of throttle on in some of them just to not lose too much time though. Now as he comes out onto the red and white striped curve, he sees another car in front, which is not going to be too bad for him. He's going to pick up that slipstream there as he comes out of the middle sector, but however he's going to want him to get out of the way soon, and he doesn't really get out of the way though, you could argue. Maybe he stayed in the racing line, but it shouldn't have affected him too much for Captain Blackburn now. As now he makes his way into the final sector. Where is it going to be when he comes to the line? As he gets the DRS open, he goes to cross the line. Blackburn goes 11th fastest there behind his teammate Ollie with a 1:17.6 now. Needle goes to start his lap now behind him there, and there'll be controversy over whether he was impeded. But now we join on board with RCX Oscar here, who's on his lap time on the medium compound tyre, interestingly enough, so thinking that he's probably going to be pretty safe here, maybe just waiting for those in front to do a lap time, see where they're at, and see whether he knows that he can pretty comfortably knock them out with just a medium and not even having to use a soft and save them for a later session, and then save this medium for the race itself. But as he goes into the middle sector, it's a 54.9, the bearing just on the margin of being a 55 there through that middle sector, however he does keep it under the 55s. Now though, in the final sector he goes, letting the car just drift around at 50% throttle before you want to get back on the power. As you go back to 50% throttle once again, a momentary second though it is 0. But as you come out the corner it's going to be DRS to the line, and Oscar goes 9th fastest here there, ahead of JMO behind Nick at the moment with a 1:17 exactly on the dot on that medium tyre. Should be safe at the moment, probably is going to be safe actually. with the field spread down at the bottom of the field. But now we look to Spry, who's, I imagine he's going to be on used tyres for this run. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't be on used tyres. Doesn't tell me. So where's he going to put it? Because of course, if he is using a new set of tyres, it could cost him. However, he may save them used tyres for Q2 here if he does get through. So we'll wait and see. But he makes his way into turn 1, takes that narrow line before opening it back up, just trying to keep it within track limits this time round. Doesn't want to take any real risks and invalidate again, because if he does, then he is really up against the clock here to get out and do a lap time without having a third track limits in a row. But he's going pretty well on his lap at the moment now, and yeah, commentator's curse though, you could argue. Crosses the line, and he's invalidated his lap, and now the pressure is on for Spry here, because he's P16, the other one not to set a lap time, and he has invalidated 2 of his laps which he's attempted here at the moment, so it's not going the way that he wants on these opening runs here in qualifying, and now he has 6 minutes 20 to get back in the pits, get out again and do another lap at the moment, so we'll wait and see how it goes here at the moment. I look at the chat now, and we've got rain for the race. And we know what happened last time when we had rain, actually. 95% chance of rain. So, if I remember correctly, last time we had rain, it was not Japan, Singapore. That was a fun one. That was a very fun race, was Singapore indeed. And we'll wait and see whether we get that again. But is Spry going to go? Yeah, Spry's going to go straight again, just saving his fuel to go once again here. So now, third attempt for Spry, got to get it right this time round, or else if he doesn't get it right, he's probably not on the fuel load which he needs to do another lap straight after this. So it's got to be this lap, or he's going to be really up against the clock here to get out and do that extra lap time, and he's going to be really up against it with the pressure mounting upon him on that 4th and final run. However, this is his 3rd run, and hopefully he can get it right this time round. As he makes his way into this end part of the first section, he onto the mini straight as you make it onto the right side of the track before going left and opening it up to the wider side, 27.3 in that first sector now. As now he swings it to the outside. He's going to break here, probably about 50-metre marker board into the chicane. You go, goes with tyres. He thinks he's safely through. I'm inclined to agree with that at the moment now as he makes his way into the middle sector to Spry here. We join him on with the T-Pod cab now as he makes his way through. Just letting the car do most of the work from here, but he is at full throttle of course, as now you go onto the red and white stripe curve middle sector 54.4 here. This is looking safely through at the moment, as long as he just keeps it within track limits. Daniel T, he goes and retires along with that trio of 5th, 6th and 7th. We see his teammate of Shifty Flight also retiring now. So into the final corner he goes. Spry not going to invalidate this time round here, and this is going to be to the line. Can he get himself out? Should get himself out pretty comfortably, and does do that indeed. Goes 3rd fastest, 3 tenths off the pace, yes. However, it is pretty comfortable 3rd time round on used tyres here. Remember that, it's used tyres for Spry to get himself out of the bottom 1 for this opening part of qualifying, and that drops Needle there into P16, and he's going to have the pressure on him because he's got improved by over a second here on his 2nd run. So it's going to be very tough for Needle indeed. However, maybe he can do it, maybe he can't. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see indeed, but he is coming out of the pits now, so this is going to be his final run. I would imagine, unless he's got the fuel on board to go once again after this, so we'll wait and see with that. Apart from that, no one else out on track, bar Mechanic here, who's invalidated. So was going for a lap, ultimately won't finish that lap, and will probably just save his fuel, save his tyres. It would probably be a smart option to go into the pits because he's pretty comfortably through, but we'll wait and see how it goes here at the moment. He is just drifting around aimlessly. Wad's now about to go into the pits here, and then Spry, of course, is probably pitting himself as he's low on fuel. Anyone on a lap? No, Needle, so we'll just watch Needle here on his outlap. P16, and to be fair, this is a driver we want to be on for this Q1 session because it's all upon him to get out of qualifying at the moment, as he's going very, very slowly here through this first part of the lap, despite doing no brake dragging either, so it's just trying to save the tyres maybe. However, it doesn't look like he's going to be warming up too much if he isn't brake dragging. Try to listen to the engine. Not really hearing any brake dragging, so yeah. Not a visual glitch, not me. He just isn't doing it, so maybe he's going to try warm his tyres up in this middle sector. However, it's an interesting way to try warm your tyres up here around Hungary, but we'll wait and see what he does. now as he's making his way through here, being the only man on track, and he's going to be the only man on track when he does his run. By the looks of things, unless anyone is going out at the moment. No. So, he'll be the only one on track when he does do his run, and it's all eyes on Neil. Mechanic retires. He is pretty much through. Well, he is through. What am I on about? He has got a 3.5 second gap here on Needle, so I doubt Needle's going to be getting up that high, but P15 he will take it. So Edwin watches on in his chair. He ain't going to have time to do another lap, so it's down to Needle. The spotlight's upon him as he crosses the start finish line. He starts his lap here around Hungary to get himself through. Can he find 1.4 seconds on one run here for Needle as he makes his way into the first corner? He lets the car drift out wider as he gets a bit of a rigid rear end, but as he makes his way out of turn 1, he goes into turn 4 now as he lets the car swing to the inside onto the curb. He goes for a bit there, that's not going to help him really, and then he goes off track and he somehow doesn't invalidate here on his opening run. Once again, almost looking like he went off track. However, he keeps it within track limits just about here now. He's down though in the first sector, and is he going to stop this lap? He's invalidated. All eyes on him, and he's ultimately succumbed to the pressure, has Needle. So now he's going to have to drive around aimlessly once again here. Hopefully he can charge the battery. However, he's going to have to go again on used compounder tyres if he's going to get out of this bottom one. And if he doesn't, well, maybe he only has himself to blame here and he's going to have to turn to the race. But however, if we do get a wet race, maybe he's looking up into a bit of a rain dance as he tiptoes his way around the track. But we'll wait and see how bad the rain is and if it does come for the race at the moment. But so we're going to go back on board with him again in this pits. No, he doesn't. So less battery, used tyres. He's got one more opportunity, has Nido. No second chances after this as he goes again here. Can he find it this time around? At the moment, we'll wait and see as he goes past the pit exit. He makes his way into turn 1, braking at about 25% as you let on the throttle just a bit off. But now you get back on full power here, coming out of turn 2. He makes his way into turn 3 now, coming out into turn 4 as they are joint corners in these little sections now. As you come out of this almost kind of chicane, you could argue, he gets onto the right side of the track before you make your way out sector 1. He's up by 600ths of a second. So Edwin, who will be knocked out if Needle can find that 1.4 of a second, is looking on with Needle improving. However, it's not by much as he goes into the chicane. Can he find anything in this middle sector? This is where he's going to get the time. The final sector, of course, you can probably gain about 5-6 tenths in that final sector if you're looking at Needle's lap time. However, it's going to be the middle sector where it's going to come out at his best. As now he makes his way out of this middle sector. Where is it looking? Onto the red and white stripe curb he goes from right to left. He's up, he's down. So Needle, unless he can find 1.7 seconds in this final sector, he's out of qualifying at the moment. As he breaks into the penultimate corner, he makes his way out. Is he going to pit? No, he's not. So he's going to give it a go here through this final corner. It rounds down to everything here as he makes his way onto the red and white stripe curb. He somehow doesn't invalidate, but he crosses the line and he is out of qualifying. Needle had all the pressure upon him and ultimately succumbed to that pressure. Needed to get it right first time, didn't get it right, got invalidated. Tried second time with used tyres, less battery. Didn't work out, he's out of qualifying here in Q1. But it's Mechanic who tops the time sheets from Wads by barely anything up there, by 3800ths of a second, by a bit further down by 2 tenths. But down at the bottom is Needle. Got condolences to him here. He's out of qualifying. Edwin survives, probably by quite a comfortable margin either way though. So now Q2 we go, and I imagine it's going to be a lot tighter for about 11th, 12th and 13th. That's going to be the battle unless Captain Blackburn's to be fair, he's in that. But Edwin is going to be looking down and he's going to have to improve his time if he wants to get in that battle for the top 10 shootout in probably about half an hour time. Q1, not a bad session, pretty, what would you call it, melancholy, that's the word for it, a pretty melancholy session I would describe Q1 as. So, now into Q2 we go, and we wait for the drivers to let themselves out on track and set the times of the light. Yeah. But who's going to be first? I imagine it'll be Nick based on what we saw in Q1. However, he's staying in the pits, as they are all at the moment. Ferrari, though, are going out with Wads here. So Wads is going to be the first to blink here in this qualifying of Q2. However, some of them further down the pit lane are actually going to get out just ahead of him. That being Ollie and Captain Blackburn. Is it one of them two? Blackburn is still in the pit, so Ollie, first 2 blink out of everybody though, ultimately to make their way out of the pits here. So Ollie, he was just about, was he in the top 10 or he was around the top 10 there in Q1. He's probably going to need to find some time here in Q2 where he's going to make his way through a bit more comfortably here, and we know that he has the pace because we've seen it previous times before. Ollie, when he wants to, he can find a lap time which can put him within that top 5, potentially even at the top of the timesheets at moments you feel. But at the moment, after that Q1 session, yes, he only did 1 lap, but it doesn't look like he's convincing me or himself here that he's going to be up at the top of the timesheet. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes on this time round and then on his second run, because of course this could be used tyre runs as well. But then again, most people are doing used tyre runs and it doesn't really matter. You can just compare them in that way. But then again, some people may have used their tyres more than others because some people did 2 laps. But I don't know why you would do a 3rd or 4th lap on a set of soft tyres around Hungary, especially where your tyres will probably, they can last on here around Hungary in all fairness, actually, when the temperature's a bit cooler, but it's not really ideal for him. But here comes Ollie to cross the line to start his lap, to start the first lap over here of Q2 here, as he sees the Ferrari following on behind. He makes his way into turn 1 now, goes to that narrow inside line before opening it up to the outside, back to the right side of the track you go again. Now though, as you want to brake a bit early here before you want to just let the car do the work for yourself, as you make your way into this middle sector just about as you finished off the final part of the first sector. If we can get some detail potentially. 27.4 there through that first sector. He goes, so he's just making his way into the middle sector now, and this is going to be interesting to see where he can put it in this middle sector. Where is he going to position his car as we go on board with him? Just lets the car do the work for him for most of it before getting on the curb here now, using a lot of the curves by the looks of it here on this middle sector. But he's very tentative by the looks of it, having to brake a lot through these corners where you just want to almost let the car flow rather than brake, as he does a 54.6 in that middle sector. But as I was saying, you just want to let the car flow through. You don't want to be putting any of the brake in, and the only way that you want to be slowing the car down realistically is by just lifting off the throttle. That's what you want to be doing in this middle sector. However, chose to brake at times, it looked to be. Maybe though, he just went a bit deep in corners. But now as he makes his way out the final corner, where's he going to put it here is Ollie. As he crosses the line, goes with a 1:16.5. What about Wads here in the Ferrari? It's not Wads because it is Wads in fact. He goes ahead of him by 0.6 of a second onto the top of the timesheets. Next up to cross the line is going to be Shifty Flight Work, and he goes only 3rd fastest here, somewhere off. I imagine he's doing a double warm-up lap with that time. Nick isn't going to be in the next cross the line because it's going to be his teammate Ghost here. Where can Ghost in the Mercedes go now? As he makes his way out of the corner, we saw a pole position for Mercedes in real life last year around Hungary. This time around in dry to survive, it's 3rd fastest only before he's quickly replaced by Daniel Tia. Next up to cross the line is going to be Darfouche now. Goes to 2nd fastest here in the timesheets, 3 tenths off the pace. And the lap times are slowly starting to ramp up. However, no one able to unpick Wads off that top spot. His teammate though, Gogi, only goes 6th fastest, 2nd of this. Well, probably slowest of the runners who's actually done a proper lap, you could argue, before JMO quickly goes 9th fastest. As there goes Mechanic now to the top of the timesheets by 4 tenths of a second in the McLaren. He's starting to ramp up the pace here. As next up we see anyone else to do a lap. Spry, he's gone 7th fastest. Blackburn's gone 9th. And then JMO, as we mentioned, is slowest of probably the runners who's done an actual lap here. But then you can say Nick, actually, is he on a lap? When you see we've got yellow flags though up and down the field for drivers slowly stopping. However, Shifty Flight is about to finish his 2nd lap time here now as he is about to cross the line. But first it's Oscar to start a lap, so never mind with him. What does Shifty Flight do on his first proper attempt? He goes to cross the line, goes 6th fastest, pretty safely through at the moment as he goes just behind his teammate. Is Nick about to finish a lap time here? No, he's not, but he is on a lap time here for Nick. So this is going to be an important one as he picks up a bit of a toe into the chicane. However, he's going to want Ollie to get out of the way soon, or Blackburn, because it will be costing him time here in this middle sector, and maybe it did just cost him a bit of time as Blackburn crashes out. Blackburn crashes out the session, trying to get out of the way of Nick. He's managed to not really keep the car in stable form and he's crashed out. So Blackburn is 10th fastest at the moment, and if Nick can put his lap time within that top 10, or even Oscar, Blackburn will be our first to drop out. Darfouche also out of qualifying here. He's retired or done something, so Blackburn is out as he's knocked out by someone. I didn't see who. Shifty Wizard knocks Captain Blackburn out, maybe. What about Nick though? He's about to go across the line. Can he knock anyone else out? As he crosses the line, he doesn't manage to knock anyone out. He stays in the 118s, just behind the Goggy slowest of the current runners who set a fully amounted lap time. Oscar though will look to knock Darfish out here of qualifying as he makes his way out the final corner onto the red and white stripe curb. Can Oscar do it? As he goes to cross the line, Oscar goes third fastest, and that is Blackburn, and Darfish not out of qualifying. Am I being stupid, or did I not just see Darfish and Blackburn 10th and 9th, and then I don't know. I think Darfish will be out anyway, but that's a bit odd to see. But I'm just going to see what's up. So terminal damage. Of course, we saw the Blackburn one where he went tried to get out of the way, ultimately got into the grass, went into the wall. It's a stupid error if you've been totally honest. And then I didn't actually see what happened to Darfish. However, he's out of qualifying and not what he wants here. Or did he retire in the pits? No, he can't retire in the pits. He's just out of qualifying. He must have crashed. That's what you presume at least here. As you've got drivers on out laps with the likes of being Ghost Mechanic is on an in lap. And Nick is into the pits here, of course, so not going to get as much time as you did in Q1, so you've got to be out quicker if you want to do a second run or even potentially a third run here for these guys at the moment. Nick probably going to be wanting to do 3 runs, probably has time to do 3 runs, but he's going to have to be quick about it. Edwin, very lucky there not to hit his teammate of Mechanic who's going into the pits, but not too sure what's happened there. Yeah. I'm gonna presume if he wasn't on a lap, that he was on an in lap and that he maybe got into the curb going into the pits, which is an interesting one. It's not something which you want to do it in qualifying, of course, or practice, where you don't want to be doing it in a race, especially if you do it in a race, you finish because you'll be out pretty much, or you've been in a very bad position because you've got to turn the car around. But it's a very interesting one. But so Darfish binned it on his in lap. Yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's actually out, regardless of whether he got, I can't speak at times today, if he goes through, but Ghost probably will knock him out here in qualifying and set him down to 11th at best here with this lap time if he can manage to improve. However, with his first run it was a 1:17, however that was on the used compound tyre. Now on a new set of soft compound tyres, I would imagine he's making his way through this first sector to the outside of the track. He goes, just about keeping it within track limits as he's on the limit here in this first part of the lap. He's 3 tenths up though, 3.5 to be exact now, as he makes his way into the middle, as he lets the car go to the narrow before opening it up to the wide part of the circuit. You get back on the power for a brief moment before you want to slam on the brakes into the chicane before you're letting the car lift its way through, and then into the main part of the middle sector you go here, where you let the car swing itself from left to right, back out to the outside of the circuit before you want to go right again, back to the left of it, and then it's the same continuous pattern all throughout before you want to get into this final straight. And he's 8 tenths up here, and he's looking pretty comfortable here to knock Darfish out. However, it is a 7-tenth gap to Darfish, but I imagine he'll be pretty comfortable come the end of this lap either way. Now though, into the final part of the circuit he goes here, past the pit entrance, and he gets onto the grass end. Well, he doesn't invalidate, however it's going to lose him a lot of time, and of course it is only a 7-tenth margin. How much time will that have lost him as he crosses the line? Can he do it? Yes he can. Goes 5th fastest, does find the improvement, and Darfish is not out again. Okay. Am I like... Nah, I'm not being blind. I don't know. I'm really confused here. Why is Darfish still in? Like, shouldn't he be out? I don't know, maybe not. It's an interesting one. However, Shifty Wizard is not on a lap here at the moment. It doesn't look to be a very competitive one at that, as he makes his way through the first section. Yeah, he's down by quite some bit. So Ghost is also on an in lap here. Yes, he is. So pressure's on Nick if he's on a lap at the moment, and he is not on a lap. So Spry will start a lap though. to get himself out of qualifying here. I'm not too sure whether we're glitching or what here down in 10th place with Darfish, because I'm swear he should have been knocked out about 3-4 times here already, it feels like. However, we'll wait and see with Spry, because if Spry doesn't knock him out here, I have serious questions. But we'll wait and see. As he makes his way through this first sector, does Spry and pulls onto the outside of the red and white stripe curve he goes. He gets his way out of this first sector and he's up by 0.2 of a second now, so he's improving. However, it's not enough to get him out totally just yet here. He needs to find another few tenths if he's going to do that. As he makes his way into the chicane, braking before you want to get on the power just coming out of the chicane. And now into the main bulk of this middle sector you go, before going from left to right, back to the outside. As Spry though, he's about to finish his lap here, sorry about that. He's about to finish his lap here, Spry now, as he makes his way with a bit of a toller coming out of this penultimate corner. He goes into the final corner now. DRS open work, and he put his lap time here. He crosses the line, it's going to be Spry to the line, goes quickest of anybody. So Spry now lays down his bench mark here with a 1:15.5 at the moment, which just about pips the Mechanics 1:15.6 here on their middle and final runs of Q2. Of course, Mechanics was their first run. Spry on his second run goes to the top of the timesheets, and yeah, I don't know what's going on with Darfish at the moment because he's staying P10. I'm not going crazy, I can guarantee that. So JMO now has to get himself through. However, we'll wait and see how that turns out when they do like the end of the session, because I'm not convinced about it. But yeah, if it does knock someone out though, like JMO, let's say, it's going to be very harsh. Well, it's going to be more than harsh because it should be Darfish out. However, we'll wait and see how it turns out to be. At the moment, as there goes Shifty Wizards across the line, he goes up into the top two here and onto what would be a front row, just about pipping Mechanic by 0.07 of a second there as he completes that lap time. Probably is going to be his final run of the session here. As the Mechanic retires, he feels he's through. I'm inclined to agree. Daniel T on a lap time now. Just before though, we're going to see JMO, who's starting on a lap. Who's finishing on a lap? Someone is, it's going to be Spry who's finishing a lap, but he's of course into the pits as we just saw him cross the line here. A Shifty Flight is now knocked out by Nick. Nick's gone up to P9 here, so Nick there gets himself out of that bottom 5 at the moment, and he's up into the top 10 shootout. However, will he be knocked out by the likes of Shifty Flight? No, he won't, because Shifty Flight's in the pits. Will JMO, however, manage to do that at the moment on this lap time? This is all which is down to him if he can do it, as he makes his way out of the chicane into this part of the middle sector where you go in, of course, to the out, to the into the out again, as he's about to make his way out into the final part of the straight here, and he's got still quite a bit of battery here to burn in this final part of the lap where you probably want to save it considering you've got the straight, and he's up here by 0.2 of a second at the moment. That's just about going to pip him ahead of Shifty Flight. However, it's not going to pip him into the top 10 as it stands here. So now as he makes his way into the penultimate corner, he makes his way out of it onto the red and white stripe curve, and next into the final corner of the lap before you want to go out to the outside once again with the DRS open. Where's he going to put it? JMO crosses the line, goes 7th fastest there to knock Nick out of qualifying. Not too sure what's happening with Darfish, however he does knock Nick out as it stands. Nick though goes to cross the line once again. Can he get himself back out? No, he can't, because he's starting a lap and that will be his final lap when he does do so. Anyone though on a lap at the moment? Agoggy is on a lap at the moment. However, we're going to turn attention to potentially anyone else who's on a lap. No, they're just on out laps and in laps. So it's Agoggy who's got the spotlight at the moment here as he goes off, and he's going to be invalidated. There is Agoggy there in the Ferrari. So he's going to have himself one chance only if he's got the fuel to go again. So it's P15. Got to get about 2 seconds to get himself out of qualifying, about 1.5 to be exact. But at the moment, he's out of qualifying unless he can find anything on his final run. Nicklo is going to be on a run here, I'd imagine. However, he's on a 32 there in that first sector. That's not competitive at all. That could be him out of qualifying, in fact. Unless he's finding anything in this middle sector. We'll wait and see when he does come out of it what the timing sheets look to be like at the moment. However, it's Spry on top as it stands, and he's looking like the favourite going into the third part of qualifying. However, Mechanic is also well within his rights to make a bid for pole position, considering he only did one run, potentially on a new set of tyres. But now, Nick coming out of the middle sector is down, and he's probably going to be out of qualifying here, unless he has the time to go again. However, I feel like we're going to see checkered flag before he does have the time to go again. Yeah, we'll see checkered flag. So Nick out of qualifying. As checkered flag goes over, he's into the pits. He's out of qualifying. Shifty Flight is out of qualifying. Captain Blackburn crashed. He's out of qualifying. Edwin, it's P14. He's out of qualifying. However, Agogi has got the spotlight to try and get through, but he's not going to have the fuel here potentially towards the end of the lap. We'll wait and see what he does though regardless here now. As he's in the middle sector, he's got barely any battery left on board. He's got no fuel, or next to none of it, before he's going to run out of it. As he makes his way in out of the final sector, he's up by 0.6 of a second here. Not enough to get himself out unless he can find a second in the final, where he's hoping that he doesn't go into low fuel mode and ultimately his lap time's ruined. This is down to everything, and it may only get him to P12, let's say, but that's better than being P15 if he can make it. As he makes his way into the final corner, out of the final corner, onto the red and white striped curb. As he gets the DRS open, he goes to the line. Can he get out qualifying? No, he can't, but he does go P14, which is better than P15 ultimately at the end of the day. However, it's not where he wants to be. So that's going to be your top 10 shootout here, as we have 5 knocked out here, and Darth Ushi is out regardless, of course. I'm just a bit confused with that one though, to be honest, because he was knocked out about, well, he should have been knocked out about 5 times. So if I'm Nick, I'm not happy there, just to be totally honest, because I'm confused. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe someone can explain to me in the chat. Please do, but I feel like I'm going crazy with this Darth Ishman. However, it won't be a top 10 shootout because it'll be a top 9 shootout though, going into Q3, because Spry is on top. From Shifty was a Mechanic Oscar, Wads, Daniel T, JMO, Ghost, and Ollie will all get a chance here in to the next part of qualifying, while Darth Ish, Nick, Shifty, Flight, Blackburn, Agogi, and Edwin are all out here of qualifying. So they're going to have 30 minutes, something like that, to do a lap each and get themselves through into pole position, or they're going to have to settle for whatever they take. As we wait and we sit in the track, we have green flags and 12 minutes of qualifying, 12 minutes to do potentially 2, maybe 3 laps if you're lucky, and get yourself on pole position here for these 9 drivers at the moment. Daniel T, Spry, Ghost, Mechanic, Wads, Ollie, Oscar, JMO, Shifty was all going for that pole position. Favourite, probably going to be Mechanic. However, Spry's got a bit to make himself a 5th pole position of the season here, if he can do so. But early outdoors, it is going to be Ollie there in the AlphaTauri, followed on by Wads and the McLaren of Mechanic here. So 2 of the faster drivers out early on, while Ollie, who's been just about getting through these sessions, sits in P6, of course, without the lap times done. Don't know why it is, I don't really care. But he's probably looking for a top 5 finish at best here in qualifying, is Ollie, and he'll probably take that, especially if it's going to be a wet race where you have to do the rain dance to tiptoe your way through, and if he keeps his nose clean in the race with a bit of rain, maybe he's alright. However, it depends when the rain comes in the race here, because we have got rain in the race, as according to sources from the chat. What's it? If it could be at the start, it could be at the end, it could be in the middle. Depending on where it is, it will make a big effect. So whether it's at the start, we're going to have chaos. If it's coming to the middle to the end, or even just after the start, strategy is going to be key for the drivers, depending on what they want to do here, as Ollie is making his way through just to get the lap thing low on before he does start his lap here, because we don't really want to be missing out on that. But he will be setting the benchmark here, will Ollie, here in his AlphaTauri, as he makes his way into the final corner. Where can he set this lap time? Where can he set himself on the timesheets? As he goes to cross the line, he starts his lap, and this is going to be it for Ollie here in qualifying. Well, it's not going to be it, but it's going to be his main, probably second to main run in qualifying. I don't know what I'm on about at this point, but as he makes his way through the first corner, went a bit deep there, didn't really take that narrow optimum line, and now he's going to already be losing a bit of time in this first part of the lap now, as he makes his way into 4, goes out onto the red and white stripe curb before you want to narrow it up and then open it back to the outside of the circuit. Now, as you make your way out of this first part of the lap, it's going to be a 27.5 here. That's not really what you want if you're going to be taking pole position, even on it. So even if it's a used tyre here at the moment, you want to be sitting in the 27s for pole. As he makes his way into the chicane now, he goes, we'll wait and see where this middle sector stacks up here, and if he can find any of that lost time from the first turn and other parts of that lap, first part of the lap in this middle sector. Now, as we've got yellow flags just for someone slowing down as they prepare to start their lap, Ollie's about to finish this middle sector of the lap where he's a 54.5 here, so it's consistent throughout with the 5 tenths in between each of the seconds which he's doing. However, it's not really looking as competitive as he was like here on this opening run of qualifying pole position shootout here for Ollie. As he makes his way out the final corner, where can he put his lap time, Ollie? Can he find anything in the final sector as he goes to cross the line? It's going to be 1:16.3 here. It's pole position as it stands. However, I feel it's going to be picked by a Mechanic right away as Mechanic makes his way out the final corner in the McLaren. He's been quite heavily favoured, and he is favoured here as he crosses the line, goes 0.8 of a second, almost 9 faster here on his opening run, does the McLaren man. So now Ollie sees that and he wonders where he's going to stack up at the end of qualifying. Mechanic sees a pretty comfortable margin early on here, but can Daniel T do anything about that? He goes to the line, goes on to the slowest of the current runners as he 1.7 off the pace, and then we see a lap being started behind him. So now all eyes turn towards here in the Ferrari. He's been on pole position many a time before. Can he do it again here? Now as he goes to cross the line, only goes second fastest here, 1/10 of a second off the pace before Ghost goes to the line. It's only second row at best for him as it stands, with him being 3/10 off the pace of those in front of him. Sprino, he goes 5. No, it won't be 5 pole positions here at the moment as he goes second fastest. It's a front row, only 14 hundredths of a second off Mechanic though, so he's well within his rights to challenge for pole position when he does go for a second run. However, he is 14 hundredths down on this first, so he'll be looking to find some more time next time round. JMO though is on a lap here at the moment. Where can he put this lap time for JMO at the moment as he's draining the battery through this middle sector? However, he is still flashing though, which is interesting to see. It's not looking where he wants it to be though, because he makes his way out. He's on a 56.5 here, which is way below par. Way below par indeed, where you want to be even to challenge for Daniel T's time. It's not looking likely here, so unless he's going to be doing another lap after this, it's not looking good for JMO at the moment as he makes his way out the final corner. DRS open to the line. Can he do it here? He's not going to do it, and he won't do it indeed. He's 3.2 seconds off the pace at the moment, as Oscar is now about to start a lap, followed by Shifty Wizard. Can he do anything with his lap time? Oscar first to be the man to try and challenge as he goes off the start-finish line. He goes onto his lap here. Into turn 1 he goes, braking quickly before getting back on the power you wanted to be, and then open up to the outside of the circuit with DRS now allowed to propel yourself forward by an extra 20 miles per hour here before you make your way into turn 4. You want to get off the DRS because now it's through the twisty windy parts of the track as you open it up to the wider part now. You get back on the power as we see the red and white Haas car making its way through this first sector. It's 27.1 here. It's more competitive than we've seen from other drivers, and it's faster here at the moment. It's being competitive with the likes of Mechanic. However, will it be up there come the end of this lap as he breaks his way into the chicane? He goes, getting onto the curb there, coming out of it before now you want to get back on the power in this middle sector here as he's constantly on and off the throttle here through this middle sector before you get back on full speed now, just to lift off for a momentary second, and now you're going to be on full speed until the end of this part mini straight as now you brake onto the curb you go before making it now and then opening it up to the outside of the track to keep it within track limits just about there. There's Oscar now as he makes his way into the penultimate corner, lets the car swing around the hairpin there, past the pit entrance you go into the final corner, lets the car do the work for you before you get back on the power. It's DRS to the line. Can Oscar do it? No, he only goes 5th fastest there. However, it's only 4/10 separating the top 5 after these opening runs here, and they're all very, very close together. And can Shifty Wizard say his piece about this now as he's making his way through the first sector? No, he can't because he's on an outlap. Not an outlap, double warm-up. Or that you presume, and he may only get 1 run here, Shifty Wizard, by the looks of things, because that weren't competitive. So it's looking like 1 run for Shifty Wizard when he does do his lap time, which it's going to be interesting to see where it puts him come the end of qualifying, because this isn't good for him as it stands. 1 run only. Of course, so his arm was hurting, he told me yesterday, or his shoulder was hurting yesterday, so maybe he is just saving himself for 1 run only here in this Q3 session. However, Mechanic is going to try to extend his margin first before we go back on board with him, and this will be his, if he has a fuel he can probably do 2 laps. However, this may be his final run for Mechanic here to extend. No, he'll have enough time, he'll be fine, I was going to say, but he'll look to extend his margin even at this early on in the qualifying session area of Q3 with quite a bit left to go before the final runs do really start to ramp up on the timesheets now. As he makes his way coming into the final part of this first sector, can he improve at any point? As he comes out of it, he's down by 9 hundredths of a second here at the moment. However, he's pretty much on par with his lap from before at the moment. Unless he can find something in the middle sector though, he's going to be still down on it. So now he's going to find that time to to put himself any bit further just ahead here. Shifty crosses the line, he's 11.2 seconds off the pace. However, that is just a double walk lap for him, so he'll be going once again still. It's into the middle sector, goes on the abandons. This lap time now does Mechanic there getting all twitchy there coming out the corner. So he's probably going to be into the pits, get a new set of tyres and then give yourself one final run. Shifty Wizard though, he may not have time to go into the pits here. This may be his one and only run here. He's not got the fuel to go for it realistically, so maybe he had a mistake on his lap before here. But he makes his way through this middle sector. Is he there with competitive lap times? Yes, he is. He's on a 53.8 there going for that middle sector, so that's competitive. That is very competitive indeed, and this could be pole position here. It's going to be one run, even one shot wonder here for Shifty Wizard potentially, as he makes his way into the final corner, lifting off, letting the car slide its way through before you get back on the power. Can Shifty Wizard do it here in qualifying as he goes to cross the line, goes pole position here by 9/100ths of a second. He's done it with his one run at the moment as it stands. He's on pole. However, can Mechanic and Spry charge him down with 3 minutes to go in qualifying? At the moment, it's not looking likely. However, when they do their runs, maybe they'll just about do it. Shifty takes pole position here at the moment. Mechanic is going once again still, so he's on his final run of the session. No more going to be left for him after he's done this lap, and he's up by 9/1000ths of a second here. It's not enough to nick that pole position from Shifty Wizard. However, it could just be enough come the end of this lap. All the difference helps here at the moment. It is a purple first sector after all. He makes his way into this middle sector now where he messed up on the previous lap. He's not got much battery left at all here, so he's going to have to be saving it for that final little straight. And then on to the final part of the DRS straight. Coming out the middle sector he goes, 53.8 to B. He's up on that. He's up by 1/10 of a second on his previous lap time. He's up by 2/10 of Shifty was in that middle sector, so can he got anything in this final part of the lap? He's got less battery than Shifty did. However, he's got the pace on him at the moment now as he makes his way into the final corner, past the pit entrance. Can he snatch it at the depth from Shifty Wizard? It's going to be Mechanic to the line on used tyres here after this failed first run. Goes to the line, goes onto pole position there to nick it from Shifty Wizard with 2 minutes to go in qualifying. However, Spry still got to go again. He's on an outlap, and then you've also got the likes of Wads who could pop up with something. However, he's into the pits. That's the best at him is 4th fastest here. He ain't going to be improving from that. So Wads, 4th at best at the moment because he ain't going to be able to get out and do another lap time. Shifty Wizard coming into the pits here. He's on the front row at best while Mechanic retires. Of course, that was his final run, and it's at the moment doing what he needs on pole position. So it's down to Spry and Ghost and those who follow on to potentially knock Shifty off his throne. At the moment, Daniel T is going to be the next to cross the line, his final run unless he wants to go again straight after this. However, his battery's going to be low and so will his fuel coming in the lap. Daniel T to the line, can he do it? No, he can't. He only goes 7th fastest here ahead of Ollie. Ghost gets a 5 place grid penalty for illegal blocking. We joined the board with Spry for a momentary second to see that they were very close here. Spry trying to go past, couldn't go past, and now he's got a 5-second penalty, has Ghost. 5 grid place penalty should I say has Ghost, and that sits him currently down at P10 when we go into the grid for the race here at the moment here. J-Molo making his way to the end of his first final flying run here of an attempt for pole position. He's 3.2 down as it stands off his first run. It weren't a very good one. Now though, as he crosses the line, can he do anything on his second run? He's in the 116s. No, he's not. He's in the 117s, and he's only 9th fastest, which is slowest of the current runners because of course Darfuge did crash out in Q2 despite being P10. So J-Mo, as it stands up, well, it will be at best P9 because he's low on fuel. So now we turn our attention to the drivers who are trying to make their way to pole position. One of those is going to be Ollie. Wads on an outlap here, and Wads going to have enough time to even cross the line at the moment. We'll wait and see with that one, because if he doesn't, then he's got no chance to challenge for pole position, and it's down to Spry with the people who look to be in contention for it at the moment. As he makes his way, we're following it on the mini-map with Wads. He's not going to do it, Wads. Wads, best for him is P4 on the second row. Hasn't been able to cross the line in time, so best is that second row indeed. So now it leaves the door open for others like Ollie here, who is into the pits. However, so Ollie giving up here at the moment. Ghost invalidates getting in the corner all wrong, so best is P5 for him. Going to be to P10 in the grid after that 5 place grid penalty. However, Spry, can he do it at the end? Spry to cross the line, goes pole position by 4/1000ths of a second here as he crosses the line. When the checkered flag is swinging, he takes pole position by 4/1000ths ahead of Mechanic, who thought that he'd done it, retired thinking that he'd done it. However, the Williams has took it from nowhere here right at the end, and now JMO's into the pit, so that leaves the door open for Oscar. Has Oscar got anything to nick it from Spry now? As Spry's crossed the line to take pole, Oscar goes to the line, can't do it. It's Spry for a 5th pole position hero of this season. Mechanic only P2, and Shifty Wizard has to settle for P3 with his 1-fly run, which isn't a bad attempt. Wads didn't find his way to the line in time, P4 at best for him, while Ghost will be down to P10 when the penalties are added, so that boosts Oscar up into 5th, Daniel T up into 6th, Ollie up into 7th, and JMO up into P8. Here for qualifying, and Darfish of course into P9 when the race is all started. But it's Spry on pole by barely anything there at the end, 4 thousandths of a second to do it, and if the rain is going to be falling in this race, well, it's going to be an interesting one indeed. But what a qualifying session to end with there, as so many times it looked to be big margins between the rest of the field. As we got into the gritty, nitty parts of qualifying, it only ended up being 4 tenths between that top 4, a further 5 down to Ghost, while some of those, of course, being Ghost and Wads, didn't actually even manage to set a second lap, so it could have only been about 2 tenths between most of them top drivers. However, the gap is 5 thousandths of a second between the top 2 and a further 2 down to P3. Spry on pole, and it's a triple Australian trio, starting from pole through to the end of the podium positions here at the moment, which is interesting to see. Well, we've got the Indian of Wads only for P4. But what I'm interested to see now, rain. Where's the rain going to be falling? When's the rain going to be falling? Because as I got told, there's a 95% chance. It looks likely. Will it be falling at the start or the end though? It's wet. This is gonna be this is gonna be a race. This is gonna be a race indeed. Some may call it dangerous. We may have all the cars out by lap 1. I think we're gonna have at least 5 cars out here at lap 1. We're gonna have quite a few safety cars, that's for certain. Ah, fuck. Well, the last time it rained was Singapore. In Singapore, what happened? It went to chaos. We're now going to be in the rain again here for Hungary, and it's going to be chaos, I think. It's going to be wet tyres for the drivers, without a doubt here. If you want to risk the intermediates, be my guest. It doesn't look like it's intermediate tyres at all here at the moment. However, in the cockpit, I can just see the rain falling. So, this is going to be a chaotic opening lap of this race, and yeah. We may have a few incidents I'm also predicting in the stewards page. So, have fun, Wads, tonight, but here we go. It's going to be 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out. And away we go here around the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and drivers sliding off the line here as we prepare to go in turn 1. However, Spry's got a brilliant getaway off the line. So has Wads. Shifty down to P4 off the line, while Mechanic dropping positions. Then Wads has got himself up into P2. The man who took the braveness, while Shifty Wizard goes to the outside of the track. Oscar sees the inside line. There we see Shifty dropping down to P6. Now Daniel T gets himself up into P4. Ghost has got himself up a few positions off the restart. While now we've got a 5-second time penalty for Darfish for a severe collision here out of the first corner on lap 1 of this race, as they go wheel to wheel here. Oscar and Ollie through the first part of this lap, however keeping it pretty fair now as they make their way out of this first sector. It's Spry who's got a massive lead by 7 tenths of a second here on the wet combiner tyre, while Mechanic is trying to stick it up the inside. However, he just has to wait it out for a bit now as he goes into the middle sector. But he is gaining time, he's gained a lot of time there just through that corner alone now as they make their way into the middle sector. We're not going to really see any moves. If you do go for a move, you're probably looking for trouble at the moment. While with Spry though, he's not looking at any trouble. He's 1.2 clear of the field already. Nick is up into P11 as he's fighting wheel to wheel here with Shifty Fly. Did they make contact there? Into the wall goes Agoggy, and he's out of the race. No, he's not. He survives as Agoggy. We have a safety car though. Agoggy losing it coming out of the corner, went into the wall. However, somehow survives here, and he will get his chance to get a new front wing and catch up with the back of the field for a safety car already here on lap 1. And if this rain is going to stop, this is going to help a few of the drivers when the rain does stop, of course, because they are going to get some time just under a safety car just to chill out a bit. But nevertheless, a chaotic start off the line to this race, and it's Spry who leads and Wads into the pits here. Early on, Wads making a pit stop. Is this for intermediates potentially? It'll be interesting to see if it is inters. It's inters. So Wads maybe seeing the rain about to fall off a bit, come the end of the safety car, choosing the intermediate for an early quick stop. That means when he pits, when everyone else pits potentially because they feel, oh wait, we need to go into intermediates because the rain's backed off a pit after the safety car, he gets the benefit of the doubt because he saves that pit stop. However, it doesn't look like he's clearing up anytime soon for intermediate, so it's a very interesting strategy because he's down to P14 now. Darfu's also having to pit to get rid of that 5-second time penalty. And a new front wing, he's onto inters, while Edwin is putting on a new set of wets compound tyres. What is Agoggy and the Ferrari going to be doing as well? Is he going to be onto inters or wets? He's took the intermediate choice tyre by the looks of it. No, he's onto the wets. So 2 drivers pitting for new wets, while 2 drivers pitting for intermediates here. We'll see which ones are getting the benefit of the doubt. So we'll be watching them lap times closely at the moment here, basically the start of this race, where it's in positions changing all up and down the field at the moment, with that being the biggest drop of Wads 10 positions down, of course, so he chose to pit, while Raider Bomb, you weren't here before, was it? No. So Raider Bomb from the back of the field has gone to P9 here in the Alpine, which ain't a bad start at all for him. Didn't even compete in qualifying, and he's already turned up his pace, while Needle 4 positions that are big up to him, while Ghost also gaining a few positions after that 5-place grid penalty to get him up to P6-1 behind where it would have been Goggy doing some overtaking, because off the track and into the grass goes Edwin already. Even under a safety car he's struggling to keep it within track limits, and it's glad that it's not really a street circuit, so else we may have some drivers crashing out even more. However, it's just the one at the moment, and they've actually managed to survive, of course, that being Agoggy, as we'll wait for them all to catch up to the safety car here, which we're going to probably be out and getting back going on lap 4, let's give it. We'll have to wait and see. But at the moment we are just under safety car conditions, as it's not, it was going to be chaos, that's for certain, and we have seen the chaos, so nothing unexpected, I would argue. But we should be, you would expect us to be in safety car in this lap. It will be interesting to see whether we are. It will all depend down to Agoggy and Edwin and how quickly they can catch up. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But then and they'll ultimately decide whether we're in safety car this lap and we get going on lap 4 or we get going on lap 5. So yeah. But we should be getting going this lap by the looks of it, because what's it? Goggy's caught up, Edwin ain't too far behind, so as long as Edwin gets here pretty fairly soon, we should be going again any minute now by the looks of it. And that early safety car is just gone. So as we go out with the middle sector, are we safety car in? No. Never mind then. So one more lap and safety car to go, and then we're back in for racing by the looks of it, as Edwin's still yet to catch up to the field for now, so we'll wait and see how that turns out at the moment. But drivers on tyres, of course, we've got, of course there's the position change as into the pits goes Blackburn, so Blackburn may be choosing the intermediate, so of course we've had quite a long safety car period now. Maybe some drivers feeling intermediates are going to be the time to go to. As he goes into the pits, he's onto inters. So Blackburn sees the intermediates as his option for the safety car restart, as are potentially many other drivers. Just I want to risk it at the moment. He's just chilling there in P1, happy not to risk it, while Mechanic behind is on into Mechanic pitted for inters. Mechanic started on inters. Yeah. So Mechanic started on the intermediates, which may have explained his early drop off to Wads in the first few corners and his struggle off the line. So That's why he's probably so far back. However, maybe he will reap the rewards here, as we're going to get a safety car restart. Safety car in this lap, of course. And we are racing again here. Did the safety car go in? There's no way the safety car went in and it didn't tell me. Yes, safety car went in. So we're racing here at the moment. Safety car did go in apparently. Didn't let me know. Thanks for telling me, game. But we are racing here, so it's going to be Spry round the final corner to set the light as it's green flags. Here we go once again now. Spry leads this Grand Prix from Mechanic, and then comes Oscar, a further 2.5 down. Daniel T follows on from them. Shifty, Wizard, and Ghost and Ollie alike. J-Mo in 8th, and Raider Bomb in P9 for the 2 Alpine duo. As it's Nick and Wad's getting a few positions there, along with Oosh and those alike, because of Shifty Flight is into the pits here for a new front wing, I would imagine, or potentially a tyre change up into the intermediates. So drivers feeling it's ready for the intermediates here in these early parts of the race, and it's probably going to be an intermediate race from there on out, I would imagine now, as they've all pitted early on here. But it's Mechanic who is making the gains here in this first part of the sector. 2/10 he's found there on Spry and Apples, and now into the middle part they go. So it's definitely intermediates, that's for certain, because Spry cannot hold on to any time there with the inters at the moment. He's just hanging on a knife edge when he's trying to slit it around every single corner without losing time. We see it with Oscar. He's already dropped 3 seconds there to the top 2 duo, and imagine if Mechanic can get past any time soon, he'll be dropping Spry pretty quickly. As they make their way out of this middle sector now, the gap opening up to about 6/10 as Spry gets a better exit. However, you look at the grip which Mechanic has compared to Spry, it's unbelievable there. 5/10 of a second gain in one set of corners, and Nick is dropping. Nick is into the grass, then wets are fully gone here at the moment. No one being able to survive on the wets, while the intermediate runners starting to gain positions now. As we see another driving, though we don't. But now we go into the final corner of the lap here, and we make our way out. Mechanic is all over the back of the gearbox here of Spry and Apples as they go onto the start-finish straight. He's in the slipstream. Can he get this move done for P1? He's gaining even further. He's going to go down the inside here on Spry. Can he make this move stick as he's later on the brakes with the intermediates? He looks to hang him out to the outside of the track, and now he gets back on the power. The extra grip's going to help him out as he takes the lead of the race here, does Mechanic, and now we'll be able to set off here. Of course, Spry won't like the way that it was done with him being forced to the outside of the track. However, Mechanic won't care. He's in the lead of the race, and he'll see it as pretty fair enough at the moment now as he sets his way off, and he's 80 up already as he's into free open air now, and he's up now by a further second, shall I say. But drivers all around pitting here at the moment, as of course we've still got some left on. We've actually got the vast majority left on the wet tyres. However, the intermediates clearly the better tyre. Shifty Wizard, he's took the option to go for intermediates. Wads is going to be paying off dividends pretty soon when all those in front of him pit, because he'll probably be up to P2 anytime soon at the moment, as he took that early decision under a safety car to pit, and he's got it right. Of course, Mechanic predicted the early safety car as he went on to intermediates, and he's flying at the moment, 1.4 ahead here as we got this helicopter cam, and we see the track starting to dry up in certain areas compared to what it was, and it's perfect conditions for the inters, while the wets probably need a bit more water than this to be getting that working window, and it'll be interesting to see what Spry does here now. Of course, he's still got a pretty hefty gap to those behind. However, he's going to be dropping to about P10 here. He opts to pit. However, he has to pit, and he does choose to pit now to Spry. So he's into the pits. He's going to lose all that time to the race leader. However, he's going to be hoping that he can gain that time later on in the race. Of course, he took pole position, not by much. However, it may just be enough to, he may just have enough race pace to get himself back up this. Oscar, though, taking the option for position here at the moment. He sits P2 now as he gains one. However, them wets are going to be falling off like a cliff at the moment, as then we see the whole pack go into the pits here as we get that. The rest of the drivers, should I say, I forgot the word. But they all go into the pits at the moment here, as we've got Spry, Ghost, Daniel T, all following on with JMO, Nick, and Ollie, all putting on a set of intermediates now as they feel it into conditions, and now it's certainly changed from the vast majority of wet to the vast majority of inters, as we've only got 5 wet runners left on track. I imagine that's going to be changing anytime soon. However, Nick has put on a new set of wets, and there he slides out of the pits almost into the wall. Very, very lucky there was Nick, as you see how slip it was coming out of the pit entrance, even on a wet set of tyres, which I'm very confused by why he's put them wets on when they're clearly the worst tyre. He's opted for new wets instead of the intermediates. However, maybe he needs them with that way that he was sliding. As there goes Spry, making up some positions there on Agoggy and Edwin, who's still sat on the wet tyres, so they're going to be struggling and just trying to get their way back to the pits now to make some positions. Shifty Wizard also able to make some moves here now as he's gaining with them intermediates, as Ghost is also doing the same thing. Edwin and Agoggy just sitting ducks here on the track at the moment, as you see the Inter-runners piling through. And we're going to see another here, as Shifty Flight is all over the back of the McLaren here, looking to make a move any moment soon. As he goes out the corner, he's already alongside of him, and then you see behind it's Raider Bomb trying to dive down the inside of the two. However, it's only going to be Shifty Flight making the move, while Raider Bomb does make the move. Now he's up into P10 at the moment. As Edwin now down to P11, he's dropping all the way off this field, and he's going to be down in probably P17 come the end of this when he has to pit here. However, yeah, he is going to opt to pit now, as Agoggy and Oscar both also opting to pit. Of course, though, maybe it will work out in the end, because new intermediates do have a massive differential in tyres compared to used intermediates, and they can be a lot faster. However, you feel about the time loss and the traffic you're going to have to go through, especially around a track like Hungary, it's not going to be really looking like the best situation for those drivers who have opted to pits. And out the pits comes Oscar under pressure from the Aston Martin. Can he defend it down the inside? He looks to, but he's going to go for the switchback here, is Oscar, as he looks to sit it round the outside. He has to ultimately succeed that position, because Oscar has kept that over Shifty Flight at the moment, while Raider Bomb watches on here, trying to make a move anytime soon when the opportunity opens up. Now we'll look at Ghost. He's gaining time fast here on Shifty Wizard, who sits P5 at the moment, pretty far off Spry, and he's not looking like he's challenging that position anytime soon. However, Ghost is challenging this position for P5 at the moment, as he's gaining even further through the corners in this middle sector, while dropping a bit there. As there goes Needle to get a 3-second time penalty, our first 3-second time penalty of the race here, which is surprising to see, considering how wet it is, and especially seeing how many drivers we've seen going off. But he is the first of all 17 on track. Now though, as we look to Shifty Flight, he's started to drop off his challenge for P7, and that's left the gap open for Raider Bomb here, who's gaining ever further through the hairpin now, as he's going to get the better time. And Spry now sets the fastest lap of the race here, and he's all over the back here of Darfouche, who's trying to defend into turn 1. However, he's got no defence to that, because on the newer, fresher intermediates, it's going to be easy as you like for Spry and Apples. He's up into the podium spots, and now he's chasing down Watts for P2. But of course, that tyre differential between new and old intermediates is going to be really showing, you feel, when they're making their way through these circuit corners. Now though, we see this hunch of drivers here making their way through turn 1, as it's the battle between the Alpines and the Aston Martins. And the Aston Martins, of course, got the edge on the Alpines at the moment, with them both being 8th and 10th, to the Alpines 9th and 11th. However, they are 1 and 2 in each way of each of their own, shall you say. But if one of them makes a move, then the others are going to be at an advantage, because that either gives them a 2-on-1 bombing on, or they're going to have 2 defending compared to the 1 who's going to have to be attacking before their teammate can come and attack with them as well, because they'll be a bit further off here at the moment. However, it doesn't look like JMO's doing anything. Raider Bomb is more likely to do anything out of his pack, while Ghost is getting ever further through this middle sector. However, he does look to be losing times at parts of the track, which is going to be concerning him here if he's to make any challenge for this P5 spot in the race. But it's always going to be a patient game here in the rain, and you just got to wait for that opportunity to arrive as they make their way through on circuit at the moment, as this is probably the closest battle for them. So we're just going to stay on board with it for a bit as we wait for other drivers. However, Ollie does make a move here, as Nick may have made a mistake though. They didn't look very close for a momentary second, and then you see Nick sliding all over the place there on them wet combat tyres. I'm still not sure why he's on them wets. They are clearly the wrong tyre. However, he's trying to survive on him, but you see coming out of each and every corner, he can't keep the car in a straight line. He's just sliding and sliding even further, and I'll be surprised if he doesn't go for the intermediates anytime soon, because he's not really got anything to gain from these wets, and if anything, it's just costing him time and time upon lap and lap. But he is trying to hang it in there for now as he makes his way out the hairpin. Will he opt to pit, or will he try and carry on doing what he's doing? No, he's into the pits here, is Nick, which is the right decision, because it's either you lose a load of time and lose positions, or you just lose positions and ultimately take the position loss. But Ghost is getting a bit more in this first sector now than he's been doing late. He's all over the back of the gearbox of Shifty Wizard. However, he's got to be careful not to lose that time, and he already has. So that time gained in that first sector lost in the corner, and now we probably lose some more in this middle sector based on what we've seen over the previous laps, as it rises again to 6 tenths. But he's just trying to get it under 5. However, he's not really making an impression in this middle sector, where he's losing 10th upon 10th here, as Shifty is just chilling there in P5 at the moment, looking to gain on Darfouche soon. Of course, intermediates are quite a lot more used compared to Shifty Wizard's intermediates. Further down the field, Daniel T now starting to mount the pressure upon Raider Bomb, who dropped off the back of Shifty Flight, and JMO also trying to mount upon the pressure. He goes off the track there, careful not to get a time penalty as he just hangs it out before he is given a time penalty, as he would have gone straight back onto the track. But he survives for now, so it's the Aston Martin sandwiched in between the two Alpines at the moment. However, he is the one putting the pressure on the other Alpine, while JMO is more looking for an opportune moment compared to Daniel T, who's really pushing on the move for this P9 spot here in this race. Can he find that move though anytime soon as he goes into the straight? This is going to be his best moment to do it, and he's in the slipstream. He gets the better exit, and now he's going to go for that move down the inside. Should be pretty simple. They go wheel to wheel here into turn 1, but as they make it into the corner, he's got the move done, and he's ahead of Daniel T up into P9. He goes, and Aston Martin now have the advantage in that battle as they sit P8 and 9, and the Alpine down to P10 and 11 in this battle. But he's going to fight it back here as Raider Bomber. However, he just has to back out going into the corner and ultimately succeeds position. Now he's under pressure from his teammate JMO, who's looking for any moments to try and get himself up one position higher and get himself a couple more points here in this race. Shifty though is starting to gain now, and subsequently Ghost is also starting to gain a bit more on Shifty Wizard as they go through the laps, but he's all over the back of Darfu. She's losing time and time upon lap and lap, and it's not helping his offset tyre strategy with him pitting that few laps early. And the same could be said for Wads here. He's going to be under pressure from Spry anytime soon now, as you see the grip levels in these wet tyres when one has been on for a few more laps than the other. It is a massive difference, and Shifty is trying to find that move anytime soon now as they make their way into the hairpin. He's got so much more grip, and he may even challenge it coming out the hairpin. However, he just sits back for the time being. However, Spry now sets another fastest lap of the race, and he's all over the back of Wads here going into turn 1. He's gained about a second there, just going through 3 sets of corners. Now we turn back to Shifty Wizard, who's in the slipstream. Can he find this move going into turn 1 himself? No, he can't. He just has to back out. While Spry is going to look. He's just going to be looking though for the time being. No chance of getting a move done at the moment here in Hungary as well. On lap 12 or 35, it's going to be Mechanic who's leading by some margin here, getting the tyre strategy right from the beginning. However, Spry did pit. He's on much better tyres. He's on how much younger tyres? Well, been all the way for Mechanic, while Spry has been on for only half of that distance. So Spry with half lap use tyres compared to those out in front, he's going to really like that challenge for the race win soon. Shifty though is under pressure from Ghost, and he's got to get this move done on Darfu soon, or else he's going to pay the consequences of not getting that move done when he needed to. And he's gone wide, and now Ghost is going to fight it down the outside. He's going to try and hang it onto the red and white stripe curb. Has he got the move done, Ghost? Yes, he has. Coming out the corner. It's a mistake from Shifty, who went deep into the chicane. Ghost saw the opportune move, found that move, putting on the pressure on the Shifty Wizard, who couldn't find that move himself on Darfush. And now Ghost's turn is to go and fight the Alfa Romeo out in front, as we see that Spry has got Wads coming out of the second sector, and he's up into P2 now and 6 seconds off the lead. However, that gap's going to be falling dramatically lap upon lap, and we've got a car off. It's Captain Blackburn by the looks of it, or it's someone else. It's Ollie there off the track coming out of turn 7, and looking to survive by the looks of it, as now he makes his way through the chicane, and he's under pressure already from cars behind, that being Needle and Edwin, as he's got to get going again. His tyres going to be dirty and worn as he looks to get some confidence back and some heating and tyres, but he's going off track lap on lap. However, Needle is under pressure himself, and he's struggling back down to P15, and that's allowing Edwin all over the back of him to try and find a move. Of course, didn't take the right strategy. Now he's pitted for the intermediates, and he's finding some time here. Here's Edwin at the moment. Nick is also gaining on this battle, and the one benefit for Nick actually pitting later, his intermediate's going to be in a much better position than those out in front. Ghost now all over the back, still of Darfish, however, just having to back out at the moment. But we look at that gap in front. That is what I mean by the tyre difference. Two seconds gained within only half a lap here for Spry and Apples on them half a lap old intermediates compared to whatever it is for Mechanic at the moment. As we see Ghost now getting this move done, as he goes round the outside, manages to hang it up the inside to get the move complete. Up into P4 now goes Ghost, as Shifty Wizard's now going to fight himself around the outside and power his way through. Up into the top 5 he goes once again. Darfush now down into P6, and he's going to be in the pressure soon from Oscar by the looks of it, as he's not finding any time at all at the moment, and Shifty and Ghost are going to be making their way up the field into this battle for P4 as it stands in this race at the moment. Gap down to 3 seconds. Raider Bomb gets himself a 3-second time penalty there. Not going to be losing any positions. However, he wants to make moves. He isn't going to be really helped by it at all at the moment. as now we're going to turn 1. The gap 2.9 down to 2.8 as it lowers itself by another further tenth here. Spry is going to be coming up on the back of Mechanic pretty soon, and he's going to be flying past him, I feel, because Mechanic has nothing to fight this position unless he's just trying to save his tyres for the fight come the end. Now though, Darfush is trying to stick with Shifty Wizard, however he's lost position now, and now Oscar is going to fight it down the inside there. Can he get the move done before he gets to the hairpin? Yes he can, Oscar. Coming out the corner with much better traction on them better intermediates compared to the older intermediates of Darfush, and as we've seen so many times this race already, tyre offset playing a massive part for drivers who putting them intermediates later may have looked like a bad strategy at the time. However, they're paying the rewards now as they're making their way up and down the field. Or up, should I say, as the only people going down are those on the wrong tyre strategies of pitting a lot earlier than they probably should have. I guess it's going to be interesting with Wads and Ghost and Shifty Wizard, because this battle for a podium could essentially heat up very, very quickly, because Wads are one of them people who pitted very early on for intermediates. Ghost one of the people who pitted later along with Shifty Wizard. Their tyres going to be able to power through and put their cars in a fight for a podium spot. Well, at the moment we have got 2 people in podium spots, however it's for the win this time round as it's Spry fighting Mechanic now. The gap only 0.6 of a second, and we see how much grip compared to Mechanic Spry has got here, and he's in the slipstream already coming out the corner. He's getting a further 3 tenths, and now he's going to look for the whole 6 tenths gain in one straight here as he's trying to stick a move round the outside later on the brakes. However, now he's going to look for the switchback because he goes deep into the corner Mechanic, and he's going to go for that switchback here as Spry, and into the lead of the race he goes. However, Mechanic's not prepared to give this one up just yet. He's going to be trying later on the brakes. However, as they get into the corner, Spry's got the move done, and he takes the lead of the race here now, and now he's going to be the one managing to pull that gap, and he's finally succeeded in his comeback. As he got his tyre strategy wrong at the time it looked to be. However, pitting later has paid its dividends, and he's up into the lead of the race now, and he's going to be the one putting that 6 margin you feel, 6-second margin you feel between him and Mechanic this time round. And it's the Williams who leads the race from after being on pole, losing that pole. He's back on pole position now and in the prime position to go win it by quite some margin. And we talk about that lap between Ghost and Wads and Shifty Wizard. Shifty and Ghost are gaining lap on lap, while Wads here is losing time. The gap reducing by 1.5 to 2 seconds here, just over the course of the last lap and a half or so. So Wads and Mechanic probably thinking about pitting soon as we've got yellow flags and Darfush out of the session. Safety car isn't out now, and this is going to play a big moment in this race. Who's going to pit? Who's going to choose to pit? He's in the wall there, coming out of turn 7, I believe. Darfush coming out of turn 7. He's into the wall and he's out of this race. Turn 8, and Gogi gets a drive-through time penalty for speeding under as we joined on board with him. Slammed on the brakes, however it weren't quick enough, and now he's got a drive-through. Spry and Mechanic both into the pits early on. Wads follows on, and this is going to bring Ghost right into this position for a potential race win along with Shifty Wizard as well. And those who follow on behind as a pack is going to jumble up together and give themselves a chance all at a race victory here viewing this top 5. As they all put in a new set of intermediates, it's going to be not until the end, you would imagine. If they go to the end, they're going to be finished, because if you try go, say Spry went to the end and Mechanic pitted on lap like 25 or 26, Mechanic will catch him. It's pretty obvious from what we've seen from them first stints on intermediates. But as they come out of the pits, it'll be interesting to see whether no one decides to pit, and Shifty's going to go for that opportune moment. So Shifty with Fly decides not to pit, and he's on an 11 lap old intermediate, so I'm not sure what the thinking is behind that decision, because he's going to be costing himself a lot of time. Maybe his teammate there, of course, who's having to pit into this 5-second time penalty, but even so, the amount of time you lose anyway, it's worth pitting. Blackburn also deciding to stay out, so those who have stayed out is very interesting, very, very interesting indeed, because why would you? But each their own, I guess. But Spry will be leading off the restart, and they got very close there, did Nick and Edwin. They're going into the pits. Nick almost looking to overtake him, it looked like. However, it's going to be Edwin who keeps that P14 at the moment. But this is what we see, of course, now as we see these trailer cars going on, and they're going to have to be the ones catching. So we'll probably get going here on lap 17 or 18. I hope they actually tell me when we're actually going again, because last time they didn't tell me when we were going, and I was just shocked to see that they'd gone. Drive, so we'll wait and see. We were final football. Chelsea won it in the 95th minute against Villa. That ain't good. Not for United. And that's put bad in my day. Oh, and it's been disallowed for a foul. Haha, Chelsea fans. Stupid idiots. Wait and see. But of course, we're not about football, we're about F1 here, and it is going to be Stroll who's going to be leading. Of course, as Shifty Flat does not want up to pit, which is interesting because he isn't actually. Maybe he's not actually opted for a bad decision here. Of course, where was he? No, yeah, he's just not done well because he dropped about. Where was he? P4ish. He was P4, I believe. So he dropped to P10, which isn't ideal. But of course, he is on a lap younger. Intermediate tyres may work out for him. As Shifty Wizard is into the wall. Shifty Wizard under a safety car there. Into the wall. No time penalty for anyone, so it wouldn't suggest contact by the looks of it. However, something's happened. He's lost his tyres. Maybe he's lost the car altogether. Coming out the corner. Into the wall he goes, and he's dropped from potential podium fight all the way to a fight, even to get into the top 5 here when we get on the restart, which is interesting to see. That is very interesting to see from Shifty Wizard. They're just losing a load of time there in the safety car. Whatever reason it may be, we're going to look in the incidents to see whether there is anything to suggest that why it may have happened. No? I don't know then. But yeah. So now, it should be safe to cut. I was going to say it should be safe to car in this lap. Probably not, so we're going to be getting going on lap 19 by the looks of it when we are all said and done. So yeah. Wait for the safety car to go in and then we can go again. But then again, back onto the topic of football, I'm going to be watching Match of the Day tonight. If you are in the UK, you will know what it is. I'm definitely watching that after this. Games. But no safety car in, I imagine. Yep, no safety car in, and Ghost is pitting. No, Ghost isn't pitting, Raider Bomb is pitting. Maybe to get rid of that time penalty. Maybe. I don't know. Wait a second. I'm not too sure why you would how you would be able to get rid of it, so that's just me being a bit stupid. So yeah, you probably didn't get rid of a time penalty. So now, we wait. For the driver to get going again. Oh yeah, oosh. Shoot that 2 in the bin. But you know what? It's all for a good cause, I'd say. My voice just went completely there. It's actually for a good cause in my opinion, you know, because you give us a safety car. Like, think of the benefits of the safety car. You bring all the packs together, and now we're fighting for up and down the field where gaps may have been before. Everyone is close within each other now. However, there isn't really any tie offsets now, so maybe you haven't actually done a good thing. However, you have brought us very close together, so I'm going to say that you have just for your sake. If that makes you feel any better after you decided to crash, but okay, we wait and see. But and again, from a personal standpoint, it proved, yeah. I'm just saying though, that is obviously why you did it. Safety car and stuff, and there goes Raider Bomb, and there goes off Edwin, and there goes Raider Bomb making contact again there with Needle. Okay. Okay, indeed. So yeah. Whatever happens there at the back happens at the back, and there goes Edwin trying to make a move there on Needle now. So I'm not too sure whether they know that. And there's a 5-second time. So that was always going to happen. Their own fault. To be totally honest, sir. Not too sure why they're trying to race at the back. Just sit in your safety car line. Sitting your the Gog is now dropping as well, man. Everyone's dropping on the field. I'm not too sure why. However, Spry isn't dropping as it stands because he's got a good getaway off the line. And he's crosses the start-finish line, safety car in, green light, and we're away again racing, and Agoggy's out of this race. So Agoggy crashes out somewhere as we saw at the back of the grid, they were all fighting a bit stupidly, considering that it was under a safety car. I don't know why they can't just be patient, but yeah, not my issue. And ultimately, Goggi's paid the price for it, and he's out of this session. Edwin also dropping down to P15. He was involved in them fights, like with Needle, who's got a time penalty, and of course the Raider Bomb as well. As now we're racing again, though, it is Mechanic trying to chase down Shift Spry for this win. However, he hasn't really gained too much time in this first sector, and Spry is flying along at the moment. Wad's a further second off the pace because he's under pressure from Ghost here, who is flying here off the line. However, he's not flying up into the podium positions just yet, and he's just having to wait his time into this middle sector where you ain't really looking for a move unless, of course, they do a door fusion and crash into the wall. So now, as we go through the middle sector, he is maybe seeing a move there. Someone is, at least, as it was an Alpine we saw somewhere around. And yeah, of course, JMO is an Alpine. However, no moves doing for himself there, as he's got cars all following on from him. 3.5 off the safety car restart. He hasn't got a good restart at all here, as he has JMO now. Oscar's going to look down the inside if he can find it. Later on the brakes, however, just has to back out because he's cut off by the Alpine as they come out the corner. As now into the hairpin they go. JMO having to defend all the cars at the moment here on the restart, and Oscar's going to look down the inside. They make contact coming out the corner. They make even more contact here, but Oscar's got the move done. He's up into P5. JMO has to drop. It's a 3-second time penalty for Ghost for ignoring track limits. That's going to really cost and hinder his attempt at a podium now. As there goes Daniel T also making a move, and JMO, who's having a torrid restart here, dropping 2 positions should I say, since we've got away again here at the moment. But as we go again here, it's now JMO sandwiched in between the 2 Aston Martins, and he needs to really just try and get on the power here. However, he's struggling desperately for grip at the moment off this restart, as they all follow in that single file formation going out of this first sector. No one looking for moves. A Shifty Wizard now gets himself a 3-second time penalty. He looks up the inside, the brilliant move from the Red Bull. Found the later braking, found the move, and now he's up into P8 as he's trying to make a comeback drive. However, that 3-second time penalty is going to be hindering him quite a bit here off the restart, as we've got 15 to go. The Raider Bomb is off the track and into the grass he goes, and now manages to keep it on track though, however not out of the race. So he's going to carry on, but down in P12 he's got a time penalty, almost going off again there. Nick putting on the pressure, of course doesn't really need to race him too much here because he will potentially make that move with the way that Raider's driving at the moment, and of course the time penalty will put him into the points either way. Needle will lower further 3.4 off this, and Edwin desperate to get past, however he's not really doing much. Mechanic though 1.6 off the pace off the restart, and now following on is Wads as Spry sets the fastest lap of the race here. We go again for another lap here. Can Wads look for a move here? No, he can't, just has to back out. Ghost following on also in this battle, however he's got a 3-second time penalty, so he's got to get past it, and then he's got to open up the gap here anyway, so he's not really in the best position. However, he's P4 by quite some margin here because Oscar 5.4 off that battle, and so is Daniel T with a 1.4 difference. Shifty Wizard looking for a move as we go on board with him. Shifty Flight we're looking for. JMO is the man though, battling with Shifty Wizard. He goes up the inside, Shifty goes around the outside. They make contact here, coming out with the hairpin. Still front wings intact for both drivers as they make their way out. Somehow they both survive here as they both make contact. It is a miracle that they both survived in fact there, because I don't know what they were doing racing like that. Shifty tried to hang it around the outside, went too deep, and now he's going to stick a wheel up the inside. Can he do it? They make even more contact. They're almost into the wall of the 2 drivers, who somehow survive once again as they go into the chicane. Somehow they're both in this race still, as Shifty is going all out here in every single corner, not giving an inch to JMO as he's just looking to stick wheels up the inside and make their moves. And now though, JMO's under pressure from the likes of Shifty Flight here, who's also trying to potentially do it, and follows idle Shifty Wizard in these moves. But there goes Ollie looking down the inside, and it's a late lunge. It's a dive bomb into the corner. Has he done it? Yes, he has, Ollie. He's made that move, and now he's going to try and stick it around the hairpin. But Shifty's going to dive back down the inside again himself. And there we see the Alpine of Raider Bomb trying to make a move as he sees the opportune moment open up for himself. Hangs it around the outside of Ollie. He gets that move done into P10 for a momentary second because he gets the switch back done to Ollie now. And up into P10 he stays. Now we see Shifty Flight also trying to make a move. Can he find it down the inside this time here on JMO? No, he can't. He just has to back out. But he's going to But he got laid on the brakes into turn 1 as he forces him to the outside of the track. He gets the better traction here, and there he sends JMO spinning off and into the back of the field as he's dropping even further now down to P12 there, as Nick is now sandwiched in between the two Alpines, chasing down Radarbomb as he's got himself up into the points after all the chaos is ensuing around him here. However, JMO, the big loser in that, but ultimately, you could argue his pace isn't really helping him at all here off the restart, and ultimately he's putting him in a horrid position to fight at the moment. Shifty Wizard, he's a man on a mission at the moment, but that P5 is looking very unlikely for the time being, especially with a 3-second time penalty, as he's just about missing out on staying in P7 with it, as Shifty Fly is also down in P8, chasing him down by 2.4 seconds a gap. But out in front, the battle for P2 it's going to be, because Spry is starting to build that gap and he's flying at the moment here in this race. It's going to be Mechanic, Wads and Ghost. Of course, Ghost going to need to find this move and get past and build a gap. So it is really just Wads and Mechanic here for the battle for P2 as he gets the better exit here. Does Wads now, and now can he pull in the slipstream and try looking to turn 1. He's moving all over the place, his Mechanic here, trying to find and break the slipstream. However, he looks to have done it, and he has done it here as Mechanic as he keeps Wads out of sight for the moment. However, he gets a bad exit coming out the corner, and Wads is going to try to fight it down the inside. However, he just has to back out for the time being. No doing there. Here we come to this battle for the ladder points at the moment. Radarbomb looking for a move, however he just has to sit out himself while Nick is just watching the chaos ensue, and he's just taking what he can get for the time being, in which it will be P10 when penalties are added. Edwin still behind Needle here as he's going to look down the inside. No, he's not. He just has to back out. These two tiptoeing their way around this track, not really dancing to the beat of the rain at the moment, but Spry is dancing to the beat of the rain out in front. It's P1 by 5 seconds now. The gap as Radarbomb has found his move there. Down the inside, round the outside he goes. Coming out the corner and up into P9 now. He's found his way. Ollie down to P10, and next over is going to be Nicky, who's going to be attempting to put on the pressure here in the Mercedes. Now though, out in front still, Wads stuck behind this Mechanic. However, he's not looking like he's going to be getting past anytime soon unless he finds a dramatic pace increase. However, there he has found some increase in pace because Mechanic makes a bit of a later braking point, which has been sent him a bit deeper into the corner as they come out the hairpin now. Watch trying to find the extra grip, and he is found in about a 10th or 2 as they go into the next set of the lap. Spry sets another fastest lap here as he's continuing to open up that gap out in front lap upon lap, as Mechanic went very early there, which may have just put his straight line speed at risk, but ultimately he does manage to stay ahead for yet another lap as Captain Blackburn now sends his teammate flying down the order, as up into 12th and onto the points position goes this Captain Blackburn. Holly unable to find any pace at the moment, and he's just struggling lap and lap. And was he one of the people who didn't pit here? Because that would be what we want to see. No, he didn't. He did pit, ultimately did Ollie, and of course JMO didn't pit, and that is why he's struggling like mad. Why didn't he pit? I don't know. It's an interesting shot from him. Ultimately, it's a stupid shot as it stands, because no offense, but it hasn't helped at all when your tyres are finished. But then again, maybe he pits and maybe he can fight his way back to about P8 come the end of this race with that offset tyre strategy, so we'll wait and see how that turns out to be. Ward's a bit closer this time round into the chicane, however nothing doing still, as Ghost is also following on looking for a potential mistake from either driver in front or when they go for it. However, he does go off the track there, and that's going to earn himself an extra time penalty potentially at the end of this race. But if he does it once more or twice more, we'll wait and see. He's got 2 in the last 2 laps here as Ghost as well, so one more, he's got himself a 6-second time penalty, which won't be ideal for him either, as that will send him down to P5 at the moment in this race, potentially even P6 when they all cross the line, but we'll wait and see for that for the time being. As they make their way through, someone into the pits, someone is into the pits here, and it's Ghost. So Ghost first to blink into the pits here, one of them new set of tyres. Of course, you could of course run these inters to the end, however it's going to be difficult, so now drivers looking to go into the pits for a new set of inters probably till the end of the race. It's going to be a 10-lap shootout for Ghost to try and get himself into the podium spot, so as he looks to go with the undercut. And even if he does, but you've also got to think, if he does manage to pull off his undercut, which he probably will do in all honesty, he's also got to pull off an undercut where he sits probably 3-4 seconds clear of those out in front, which maybe he can do, as there goes around the outside. His teammate there into turn 1, however he does just back out Nicky and not looking to really affect his teammate's race, because he knows Ghost is going to be flying along now in any time soon with that new intermediate of tyre. As there goes Ollie there, making another move as the two AlphaTauris going wheel to wheel into the grass goes Ollie, almost crashing out of this race. However, he just managed to survive here, getting very fast to the 2 drivers, of course teammates, sitting P12 and P13, only 1 point between them at the moment this race. So it's very interesting to see how they're fighting so hard. You think they'll be working together a bit more, but no working together, no team orders going on over there at AlphaTauri. It's just each for their own. Ghost now has pulled that gap though to Nick, and he is starting his pursuit of a podium position when those in front of him do pit. And when they do pit, of course, they don't really need to pit. When you look at the thing, it is the time penalty situation, but you have got to think about it. But then again, a radar bomb's out. Safety car. We've had 2 safety cars this race already. We may have a VSC here. Good to see where we are with radar bomb. Can't see where his car is, so radar bomb is out, and we have a VSC by the looks of it, where it's saying caution in sector 3. Nick, do we have a VSC? I don't actually know what we have. No VSC. Right, okay, so we go again as Shifty Flight takes that yellow flag, where some drivers may have been slower in that bit of the lap. Of course, it won't be slowing too much though, because it is only a few double yellows or whatever, so he carries on going up in P11. But most drivers now it's getting triggered, and onto the intermediates, not onto the intermediates, onto the soft, onto the medium compounded tyres goes JMO. Okay. That's an interesting one. Of course, he's finished. Sure. Yeah, it stopped raining, so this may work out for Sprite, to be fair, because they probably can get onto soft tyres at the end. But in medium compounded tyres for JMO here, I'm gonna watch with a bit of shock for them for that medium compounded tyre decision, because he's gone very early, considering you didn't really need to do that. You probably should have just waited a few laps if you wanted to go into the soft tyres, or medium in this case, should I say. So it's slick tyres. So that's very interesting there. As into the pits now, we see Oscar. Is Oscar going to do the same thing here? Because seeing one driver do it, is another going to gamble at the moment. But we're seeing gambles going on up and down the field. Is Shifty Wizard going to gamble his move up into P4 here as he dives down the inside? He is going to go for it. Can he make the move stick? He's going to try. He is making it stick as he sits it down the inside. Daniel T wanted to hang it around the outside, however, nothing doing for him. And up into the P4, he goes to Shifty Wizard now. Also, got to bear in mind that time penalty. Nick now taking advantage of those into the pits. And onto the soft compounded tyre goes Oscar. So drivers thinking it's ready for the slicks here. It's an interesting strat for most. What's Ollie going to do now? Because if Ollie goes into the pits for slicks, that's also going to be interesting. However, it doesn't look like it's slicks on track, not just yet. But drivers, soft compound tyres for Ollie now. So drivers all on a mix of tyres at the moment. As we've got some on the medium, some on the inter, some on the slicks here. JMO on the slicks. Shifty Flight also gone into the slicks here. How are they hanging it around? I'm not too sure. We're up with Needle, who's also onto the slicks himself. So what does Oscar do in terms of lap time to those out in front? Shifty Flight, 2 seconds off. He's gaining in his first part of the lap, so maybe it is ready for slicks. You of course have to wait a bit into the corners. Of course, you can't be pushing too much, or else you're going to be going spinning. But he's gained 3/10 in this part of the lap. Now into the chicane he goes. Really cautious. Blackbird now gets himself a 3-second time penalty. As into the pits comes Edwin. He's onto soft compound tyres. Mechanic is going to gamble here for the softs. So if Mechanic has got this right, he is going to be the one to benefit and potentially put himself right in the fight for the race win here at the end. He's pitting. He's going soft compound tyres, is he? Yes, he is. So Mechanic has sent those around him onto the slick tyres, and now he's going to gamble himself onto the slicks. Is it ready though? It looks to be ready with some though, because Shifty Flight's going to go around the outside into the hairpin, up into P9. DRS enabled, and we're definitely in slick conditions now, with the DRS tells us that. So Shifty Flight up into P9, and a bit of DRS for those drivers who now going to be fighting their way up into the double DRS zone, looking for that move here around the Hungary ring. Blackburn, he's into the pits now for a new set of tyres, while those in the top 5 all sticking it out on the inters. Of course, the gap is 9.8 seconds with Mechanic. He isn't gaining though in the first part of these laps, and if he's going to pull this undercut, he's got to do it soon. However, it still does look like a very slippy track when you're on board with him. As you see this spray come off the tyres, it's interesting. I'm tempted to agree with you there, Oosh. I'm very surprised. I think a lot of them I've just seen others going onto the slick tyres. Thought, oh wait, they've all gone into medium soft, maybe it's time. I don't think it is. I think, of course, you saw that move going from Shifty Flight. However, when he made that move, he was on very old tyres with Blackburn, so that's going to be affecting him. Here though, we'll see Mechanic and Ghost on only 3 lap old Inters. He decided to go for the intermediates to Ghost. Mechanic gambled on the slick tyres, and Ghost at the moment is keeping on par with him, and in fact even gaining at times. But Ghost now is deciding to pit himself, so maybe he's got it right this time. And of course you say maybe next lap, maybe this is the lap. Into the pits they go, all of them. However, Spry and Shifty Wizard still hanging it out there, out in front with a 17-second lead for Spry at the moment. Wad's now into the pits for slick tyres. Daniel T's going to pull it. Has the undercut worked for Mechanic? Yes, it has. So Mechanic gets the undercut done, and how big is this gap going to be? Because that's going to tell us how much was the difference in terms of slicks and intermediates. 3.4 seconds the gap as he comes out of the pits, and that's going to probably go to 4 by the end of the lap. So it's definitely slicks. It is definitely slicks indeed here around the Hungary ring right at the end, because the gap has been pulled apart from each of them as they were right on par with each other just a few laps ago. Mechanic went for the undercut though, and now he's up into P3, and he has got the better tyres till the end of this race. Wadso has got to chase him down though with a much fresher set of soft tyres, which will be riding in better conditions. Someone's spun it around. It's going to be the Mercedes, as there we see the 2 cars going wheel to wheel. Nick's still trying to get on par. He's dropping out the points at the moment though, and it's going to be heartbreak here for him, as he's been driving a brilliant race. He's now going to need to get his front wing changed, and that's going to send him all the way down into P13 here with his time penalty. It's not looking good. He's putting a new set of inters because he thought he couldn't hang it out, and all this glory of a potential another points finish for Nick in what has been a pretty successful season for him is ultimately all over. But he has caused a safety car here at the end, and that's going to allow the likes of Spry and Shifty Wizard into the pits, and they're going to stay P1 and 2 because of this pit him. So both of them into the pits now, and they're going to survive here because Mechanic is making his way around, but he has to go at the reduced rate of the Delta. So now we watch Shifty Wizard. He gets on his new tyres, he comes out the pits. Mechanic is making his way down the straight. What is Shifty doing? Has he got this move still in P2, or has Mechanic managed to overtake him? Out of the pits they go. It's going to be a race to the line. Mechanic's done it. He's pulled the undercut on not 1 but 2 cars here. He's back up into P2. Shifty Wizard though, on the other hand though, is going to be coming out. He's managed to get ahead of Wad's Shifty. So Wad's at that reduced speed, ultimately struggling to keep pace, having to match his Delta. Shifty is going to be on the freshest tyres of all, along with Spry. However, he's got that 3-second time penalty, which is going to potentially cost him a podium here, and even a race win if he can challenge. But we're going to have a 3-lap shootout on the soft compound tyres for most of the driver. Nick also pitted now, so maybe he's going to be saved his unwavering fate of what he calls himself, and he will actually stay in the points positions now, considering that he doesn't, considering where Edwin is, and Edwin is behind the safety car. So Edwin and Needles race pretty much over here because they can't fight for points and they can't unlap themselves unless the game does tell them to unlap themselves, which is very unusual of the game if it does do that. So them too unlikely, as Nick is serving his time penalty. He'll be hoping not to get lapped by the safety car. However, he seems pretty fine, along with Blackburn, who's making his way out of the pits. Yeah, now. But it's Spry who's still got his lead here in this race from Mechanic though now. But of course Mechanic is going to be on the used tyres round, so what once looked like a good decision, that safety car may now put the good decision into jeopardy of an undercut. And ultimately, but then again, he's also stuck behind his teammate here, his Mechanic, so he's going to need his teammate, a lap car, to get out of the way as soon as possible, so he can challenge for this, because if he gets in his way, or he gets a bad exit, Mechanic is going to be struggling like crazy off the line. And that's going to open the gap for Shifty Wizard, who's not got, Shifty Wizard has got a lap car in front as well. So, 2 cars, both got their teammates in front of him, not in the best positions. Not in the best positions at all for either driver though. But we're going to get going on lap 32, I would imagine. No, probably lap 33 actually. Yeah, so 3 laps sprint. Unless safety car decides to go, but what do you need? You need 2 racing laps, so yeah. It'll probably go in on lap 32 and we get racing on lap 33. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That is what I am thinking indeed. But the sunshine is starting to come out now, at least, and we are seeing something after all the hectic rain as they each tiptoed their way around They are fighting their way on soft tyres for these last few laps, where now we're going to see real driver pace ultimately, and we're not going to see who's better in the rain. You could argue, of course, there is pace to do in the rain, but it is all about how good you are in the rain, because you can be really fast in the rain. And although you should be really fast in the dry, you don't end up being fast in the dry for some reason. Don't ask me why. I'm a brilliant driver in both the wet and the dry, because it's me obviously, but yeah, some of these guys aren't. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But these time penalties are also going to make it interesting to see, because Shifty, 3-second time penalty, he's going to be dropping out the podium with that as it stands. Ghost is going to be dropping to P whatever. He's P7 at the moment. He'll be dropping to the end of the points when the safety car's in. Blackburn also in the same position here as Needle is as well. But we are, yeah, we're going to lap 33. Also can make the difference here is tyre differential, because of course mechanic Wads and all those who pitted just before the safety car, so like Spry and Shifty Wizard, they were fighting in the rain on their soft compound tyres. Yeah, they were having to drive on still somewhat of a wet track on soft compound tyres, which would have been affecting them, of course, if they were having to use more life of the tyre, therefore having a higher level of degradation than they usually would. While Spry and Shifty Wizard didn't have any of the wet service, because the safety car came on, they used that safety car to their advantage. So now they're going to be on a fully dry track with the fresher tyres, so they are in a better position. You could argue with Shifty Wizard and Spry a lot better position, and Spry may just be benefiting from that when it goes to the race win. And ultimately, Spry is also benefiting from the fact that Mechanic and Shifty Wizard are also going to have to see two drivers get out of the way, and they do get out of the way. The Mechanic gets moved under on his teammate, however he has to let his teammate back pass. So he tried it, he thought he may have got it, had to give it back. And safety car is, so we're going to have a 3-lap sprint to the end here. Mechanic is firing up his tyres, of course just missed out on pole position by 4 thousandths of a second. Is he going to miss out on this race by pretty much the same margin in terms of about 4 tenths of a second? Well, we'll wait and see. He's going to need to get past his teammate though as soon as possible. And so is Shifty Wizard as well, because of course they will get the blue flags, but they are still going to be causing a hindrance. Maybe they almost make contact there, the two teammates. As now they make their way around, they're trying to get the move done. However, I don't think they're helping each other, because Spry has gone and Spry has used them to fighting with each other, trying to let one another pass. As now they do let one another pass. It's already 1.5 though as they cross the line. So it's a 3-lap sprint till the end as we go green again. Shifty Wizard sees the moment, and Shifty Wizard's going to take the move down the inside into turn 1. He sees the squabbling between the two teammates. However, he's going to go for the switchback here, and they go over each other. We get on the restart, and Shifty Wizard rides over the top of a Mechanic there by the looks of it, and somehow they both still stay intact here, only 2.3 off the race lead, as they're battling for this second place at the moment. Shifty though, now he's going to fight it around the outside. He needs Lader on the brakes, and he is Lader into the corner because he's up into P2 now. Mechanic having the worst restart of all here as he fought with his teammate to try and get off the line, as Neil gets a 3-second time penalty, but he's at the back of the field, so it won't really matter much. But ultimately, he got off the line terribly there, the Mechanic, after he had a little squabble with his teammate, and it's cost him massively, and it's cost him potentially the race win here, because he's already 1.1 off Shifty Wizard. Maybe when they run over each other, they did get damage there coming out of turn 1, because he's dropping massively, and Wads is also putting on the pressure. Shifty Wizard though will be loving this, because of course he won't win this race, not unless he finds some miracle 5-second quicker lap pace because of that 3-second time penalty. However, he will be loving the fact that Mechanic is slow at the moment after restart, and that's going to be costing him and Wads time, because at the moment Wads is getting that podium position. Spry gets the fastest lap of the race. Shifty Wizard retakes that from him as we go again here. Lap 34 or 35, it's a penultimate lap of the race, and it's Spry who leads, while here comes Ghost to dive down the inside here of Oscar, and he gets that move done. No switchback happening there for the Hash driver, who's still going to be set up for P7 now, but it may be to P8 in a momentary second, because he's going to dive down the inside there as he hangs it around the outside. Oscar, he's not going to be hanging it around the outside anymore, because Daniel T is up into P6 and Oscar's now sandwiched in between the two Aston Martins, as he's got Shifty Flight on his tail anytime soon. As there we see Nicola getting himself a move as he's made his comeback. Ultimately, he caused a safety car. It's ultimately benefited him, and I believe Ollie is off the track and he's spun round somewhere. Of course, he will still score points this race due to the massive gap between those behind after they were unable to unlap themselves through the safety car. However, P12, and ultimately he's dropped quite a few points there, about 5 or 6 points from P9 to P12 at the moment. But of course, Blackburn and JMO both on the medium size, which is interesting enough to see as they're in a battle of their own here, but they won't be catching Nick. And Ollie, of course, with that incident for himself, they won't be catching them either. But as we join back on board with Spry and Apples, he crosses the line to start another fastest lap of the race, actually is, but he is starting the final lap of the race, 2.5 the gap. The battle is for these podium spots. Shifty Wizard, of course, has the podium spot, but he isn't going to be there come the end of the race. At the time in, he's got a 3-second time penalty. That's going to set him 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. So he needs about 3/10 of a second here to get himself on this podium. As it stands, he needs himself, if he wants to get P2, another 5/10. Is it 5/10? 2.55, 3.5, 4. But he needs another 1.5 seconds. So he ain't going to do that unless Mechanic and Wads are battling severely. So it's going to be for that third podium place, because Mechanic looks like he'll manage to snatch it from Shifty Wizard when time penalties are added here as they make their way around the circuit. Spyro is flying along still, and he is not looking like he's going to have his lead taken away from him after he took it right at the end in qualifying. Anyone battling for a position, Shifty Flad is, as he's looking to get past the Hash driver. Ultimately though, he's not able to do so at the moment as they come out of this middle sector. It's not looking likely still as he follows him all the way through from the twisty windy middle sector. Is this going to be his opportunity to go down the outside later on the brakes? However, he's not going to be able to do it. But Spry, he tiptoed in the rain dance, and now he's got the perfect tyres for the dry as he comes around the final corner to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's a 1:19.5 for another fastest lap before Shifty Wizard takes it away from him. Spry wins in Hungary. Mechanic takes P2 after time penalties added, and Shifty just about takes the podium position. A brilliant effort from him right at the end, especially after the first safety car incident which sent him down to P10. Wads snatches P4 from Daniel T as Ghost with the time penalty added, sets P6 at the moment. Oscar for P7 here, and then he's followed on by Nick, who sets another brilliant race for himself there in P8. As we'll wait to see what the others are doing when the official timing sheets go up. But brilliant race all rounder from most of the drivers at the moment. As ultimately we see, of course, Yurush, who went out unfortunately, but you did give us some action at the end. You could argue because you caused the first safety car and then caused another, but it's Spry who does win here in Hungary, and by some ways it's a triple Australian on the podium here, and that may be the first time I've ever seen that here in Drive to Survive, a triple Australian podium. So congratulations to them, baby. I don't know, but champagne's out. They win in Hungary, does Spry, and maybe that's going to bring them closer in the championship standings, which of course have been starting to close up with Wad struggling in recent weeks. Because of course after his brilliant getaway, Ferrari are struggling, and so is he, because it's Williams who are going to extend that gap in the Constructors' Championship going to the next race, while the gap between the two drivers is 96 and 88. After this race, that is going to be closing up at every moment, so this championship battle is all to fight for as it stands, as it goes to about 7 or 8 points. I didn't do the maths, but it's something like that. But it's Spry who is on top of here from Mechanic Shifty. Wads, Daniel T takes P5, Ghost 6, Oscar is 7th, Nick 8th, and Shifty Flight 9, 10 for JMO, 11 for Blackburn, and Ollie takes the final points position in there in P12. Drivers of the day are going to be Spry for ultimately a brilliant race. Ultimately got his strategy right, did everything perfectly to take the Spry, so he's up there for the vote. Shifty Wizard for that. Ultimately he started third, he finishes third. But after that first safety car incident, the comeback drive is brilliant from him to get P3. So that comeback drive alone ultimately gets him a vote for driver of the day. So Spry, Shifty Wizard, and ultimately I'm going to give the next vote to I'm going to give Nick a vote. Yeah. Nick, of course, didn't get as many positions as some people. He drove a brilliant race today. Of course, had that moment where he went spinning or whatever, lost his front wing, but he drove a brilliant race. Nick managed to stay out of trouble for most of it, and ultimately got himself a few more points. So Spry, Shifty Wizard, and Nick are my driver of the day votes. But that's all from Div 1 around Hungary. It's Spry on top, and that championship is starting to close in on each other between him and Wads as they battle it out with the Williams and the Ferrari closing the championship as well for the constructors. So that's all from Div 1, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.